残酷な天使の窓を開けたら知らない言葉を心地よい風吹く
Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to the ATCast. Today, AT stands for Arbitrary Taste because we have quite a variety of anime this weekend, including some cooking anime, which is great.
Yep. We sure do.
Are you eating like right now?
No, I just had a momentary lapse in anything. It's
okay.
Fine. I can just cut that part out.
Oh my god, okay.
I don't know, my brain just stopped working for like 2 seconds. I'm still a little bit sick.
I thought you'd be so excited for food anime.
Okay. Yay, food anime! I love food anime!
You are so ill.
So what?
You are so ill. You are sick.
Shit's fine. Yeah, my voice is a little bit shot because I'm sick. I've been sick. My roommate got me sick, and it is not awesome.
You got them roommate cooties.
Yeah, I'm on the like recovery path, so that's better than not being on that.
I feel your germs through the microphone.
Listen. Cyber cooties aren't real.
Oh my god, they're so real.
They're not real.
Watch me get sick tomorrow.
What part of cyber cooties could possibly be real?
But I feel them.
The sick waves that I am projecting through the microphone will reach all of our viewers, all of our wonderful viewers, and they will all get sick with my cyber cooties. I'm sorry, it's just it's just the way it goes.
Like, if you're listening with headphones, it's just gonna seep into your ear, and then there it is. It's in your brain.
It's a cyber bacteriophage nightmare.
All right.
So, what have you been up to in the last week or so since we recorded? Wait, no, we recorded a long time ago. I just uploaded it like a week ago.
Work hell. Literally been working overtime all week, so that's been my life. Not fun to talk about either, so.
That sounds super not fun.
Yeah, animation. What are you gonna do?
Yep. You know, you're just so dedicated to anime, you do it for work.
Yeah, totally.
You're definitely doing anime.
I'm definitely working in Japan right now. I'm living the dream of being a work
living
slave
the
to
dream
a
of
studio.
being underpaid and eating cup noodle.
Yeah, all day, every day. That's my dream. It's not entirely different from what I'm doing now anyway, so.
I suppose that's fair.
Anyway, how's your week been, sick boy?
I have been sick, which I think is quite evident if you listen to my voice. I have, aside from that, been playing a bunch of Fire Emblem Heroes.
Dude, I've been wanting to play that. I was gonna play it with you at some point if we were able to.
You're thinking about Warriors. You're thinking about Warriors.
You're right.
Heroes is the mobile game.
You're right. I always confuse them, but I have also been playing Fire Emblem Heroes.
Yeah, oh fuck, dude, that gacha life is so tough. Like, I played Puzzle and Dragons for a long time, and I know you did.
Yep.
And that was just fucking crazy.
Yep.
Fire Emblem Heroes, I think, is a little bit easier on my soft brain.
Really?
Yeah. Just because, like, the orbs I was, like, decent at, but I could never just wrap my head around them like people could. They got really complicated sometimes.
I don't know what's complex about it.
Well, okay, like, I generally tended to play, like type and match heroes and not, like, combo hero. I was way better at combo heroes than I ever was at, like, using, like, Kirin or, like, the Indian goddess. I don't remember what her name is.
Okay.
But, like, those were, like, you know, match, like, green, red, blue, and like, like yellow, and
Okay.
you get like a bajillion times multiplier. You know what? I have a my neighbor still plays, and there's like heroes that are much easier to use because they're like conditional combo. So it's like they're like hybrid heroes, and they're a lot easier, and you can get some fucking crazy multipliers on them without as much work.
See, when you said orbs, I immediately thought of the orbs in Fire Emblem Heroes because that's what we were talking about, and so that's why I was like, I don't get what's so complex about it.
No, those aren't very complex at all. Those
Yeah,
are actually
I was
quite
like,
simple.
It's like you're getting currency. What's complex about that? They outline how you get it.
I was looking at the Google Play store
Yeah.
to look at our podcast, which is now on the Google Play Store. You can now get it on the Google Play Store
Oh
and the
my
iTunes Store.
frick. Holy cow.
But I also happened to happen upon my purchase history, and
You did not spend money.
Don't talk to
you
me.
are such a sucker for all these microtransaction games.
Do not talk to me about how much money I spent in November of 2017 on fucking Fire Emblem Heroes. It was bad.
You did not. Oh my god.
I spent at least $60.
Well, it's not as bad as you in Overwatch.
Well, Overwatch is pretty similar because I spend $50 every couple of months.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you haven't spent as much in total on Overwatch as you, or not.
Yeah, but I've also played a lot more Overwatch. I have at least 300 hours in that game.
Well,
well.
you have a problem that I think you've at least recognized. You've just succumbed to it, is all.
Yeah.
I've spent zero monies on Overwatch and Fire Emblem, so you and I are just in two different camps, buddy.
Yep, you're a responsible adult, and I am a trash person. I will say, I spent not as much money this year on Fire Emblem Heroes, and I did do a lot of grind work to get all those orbs, and I still got fucked over. I spent so many goddamn orbs trying to get New Year's heroes. My summon rate was my summon rate for the focus heroes was something like 5.5 before I got one.
Which one did you get? As soon as I saw your waifu, I was like, I bet Subi's gonna try for that one.
I got Azura.
You got her? Okay, good.
Yeah, so now I have every iteration of Azura.
I'm glad. I know someone who has every iteration of Frederick, so.
There's only two.
No, Frederick and what's his name? Oh frick, the guy from Conquest.
Xander,
yes. She has every iteration of Frederick.
You mean Blonde Daddy Frederick?
Yeah, Frederick and Xander.
All right, do you want to talk about anime now? Because this isn't the
now
Fire
that
Emblem
we've
Heroes
addressed
cast.
your addiction, now let's talk about your addiction to food.
Okay, all right, you're not wrong.
But that's okay. That's something we share, actually.
I love food too much.
Yeah. Well, and now you get to learn more about it because there's a Fate series about food. And you've never watched Fate.
I'm so fucking lost when I watch this show. I don't understand anything about any of these characters. I just know that Saber is everybody's waifu, and there is a boy named Emiya, and he's the one who's you die if you're killed.
Yes.
And I know that there are people, and they summon legend people.
Yes.
Kind of.
And no, that's exactly it. They summon them, and then they have a battle royale, and that's it. And then if you win, you get a wish. But that's not this anime. This anime is set in an AU or some kind of situation where all the characters from Fate Stay Night are having just a daily life of eating and napping and having a good time in Japan. It's a very chill anime. It's Emiya-san chi no Kyo no Gohan, and it's about Emiya cooking for Saber and the rest of his family or whoever drops by his house, and they detail it all, and you get to learn about cooking while watching your babies not suffer.
I'm gonna be honest. I hope this is a trend that catches on and continues. Like, I fucking love it when they take a serious ass anime and they're just like, okay, but like, what if we have a spin-off that's just about like cooking or slice of life? As much as I have a soft spot in my heart for the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, I really like the spin-off that's focused on Nagato.
Yeah.
Mostly just because I like her character better.
I'm inclined to agree.
But that's just because, like, she fills a very specific hole in my heart.
Well, I think with these spin-offs, well, their spin-offs are kind of hit and miss, but I think with these kinds especially, it's like they know what their fandom likes about their series, and so they choose to focus on that and address what wasn't addressed in the anime that the fans might want more of. In this case, it was the fake characters actually, you know, living their lives and being happy. That wasn't a thing in the actual series.
This actually makes me kind of want to watch Fate, and I know we've only watched one episode of this show, but it's about food, and there's fucking pretty anime people. That's all I need in my life. All right,
you might enjoy Fate. I mean, you at least get to see where the infamous, you know, people die when they are killed line comes from.
People die when they are killed.
Yeah, when he's...
So, I think I've had this explained to me a lot, and I think I understand the idea that they're going for.
I do too.
It's just so fucking funny.
It's so funny, and at first I thought it was a translation error, and then I was like, no, that's exactly what he said.
That's just what he says.
Yeah, that is exactly what he said. And then it comes up again. It comes up in Assassination Classroom too. And it's just God. It's just, I don't know how else you could translate it though, to be fair.
I mean, you'd have to like get the idea across without just translating it literally, which is sometimes quite difficult.
Yeah.
Especially with series where like the things that they're saying in the first place don't necessarily make sense in a normal context. Which, I mean, translation is a hard job because it's less about like getting the literal meaning across and more about getting the feeling across.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I don't envy them the job, and I don't envy them having to translate that line into people die when they are killed.
I think it's kind of neat, but mine, like, Japanese is not nearly good enough to do that, and I'd have to put some serious work into that, so, I'll just sit here not doing that.
You should do it.
But what other shows do you think could benefit from this formula? Because personally, I want my Recreators slice of life.
Dude, oh my god, that would be so good!
I want them all to hang out and be happy and wear fashionable clothing and just, man, it would be so good.
Since I watched it recently, I'd want it for Inuyashiki.
It would be horrible for Inuyashiki.
No.
It would just be about the old man and how everyone in his family hates him.
No, because people come around by the end, okay? That's what the whole series is about, but spoilers, but also, like...
Okay, I didn't watch it, so...
Yeah, you didn't watch it. You just heard me rant about it because I got so salty.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that this season, when I'm like looking over the list now, a lot of this season is very much like this show. This show is like very characteristic of this season. I think fucking everyone in Japan is like, we need a fucking break.
Yeah, I think last season was like edge, drama, edge, and then this season is just like, it's the new year. We need something nice.
This season is so fluffy.
Yes.
So we've obviously only watched one episode of that, but you know, how are you feeling about it?
I really like it. I want to watch more. I really, as someone who's watched Fate, I really love seeing the characters in this new light, like exploring aspect of their lives in Japan that they didn't really have before, or they didn't show at least. And I don't have to worry about drama. I just have to enjoy the ride and the characters. And the food. Oh my gosh. The food is great.
Oh,
I want to make everything that he makes.
Oh my god. That's my idea for a new show. It's just I'm gonna make all the food that they make in anime, and then I'm gonna eat it.
I was thinking about that. I was like, dude, you would make a great like chef for like anime foods.
Anime chef.
And
Listen,
I would freaking watch it.
next time you're in town, we'll like cook it up together.
God, that'd be great. Okay, anyway.
Speaking of someone,
how did you like it though?
Yeah, speaking of someone who has not watched Fate, I really enjoyed it because it was soft and fluffy, and there was food, and you have the advantage of characters that are already established, so you don't need to establish anything about their personalities. Like, you can just have them play it straight, and it's characterized really strongly because of that. I really enjoyed it.
So you didn't feel like lost at all as someone who didn't watch Fate to hop into this show that is just a spin-off of Fate?
Well, not super lost, but I did feel like a weird sense of I'm familiar with these characters in that I've seen them before, but I just don't know anything about them.
Sure.
Like Spiky Blue Boy.
Yeah, and
I've seen him fucking everywhere, but I don't know what the hell he does or
yeah,
is.
no, I feel that, and how I freaking scream every time I see him. I understand.
Is that a good scream or a bad scream? Because I know you do both.
There's a lot. There's a lot of feelings to unpack there, but no, I think it's also a good promotion for the actual series because it is older. Like Fate Stay Night is older now compared to all the freaking iterations of it that are out now.
Although, I did ask around about how to watch Fate, and the general consensus just seems to be watch the ones that look pretty and then read the fucking wiki.
For me, I would watch Fate Stay Night first, then watch Fate Zero, and then watch any others that you're interested in. Which for me, I wasn't interested in any other ones, so there you go.
It sounds good. So if you like cooking and pretty anime people, and I guess also Fate, watch it.
Yeah, if you don't even have to like Fate like soup. Just if you like food or whatever, slice of life.
Do you want to know what my favorite thing about this section is? Like this entire episode? If we do it regularly enough, I won't have to put together a mega cut every fucking end of the year.
That was insane.
It was a lot. Anyway, the next thing that we watched was Ramen Daisuki Koizumi-san to continue our food theme.
Yeah, food.
So this is something that I read as a manga. It is the beautiful journey of a young woman in high school who falls in love and then subsequently falls in love with ramen because the person she likes is obsessed with ramen. It's much less dramatic than I'm making it out to be. It's like a really cute show where they just eat ramen and they explain things about ramen. And I love ramen, so I fucking love this show.
And this girl is very thirsty. One girl is thirsty for ramen, the other one is thirsty for the other girl. So if that sounds like your jam.
It's a perfect combination.
It's a perfect combination of the things that you like.
I mean, it's nothing spectacular, but it's like very comfortable to watch, and the ramen looks really good. So if you're into ramen, watch it. If you're into food, watch it.
I love it. I love ramen, and the characters are funny enough, and I just make fun of them because they're ridiculous, but it's actually a really great show.
They're pretty silly. Although I will say, and we're not going to talk about it yet, watching this right after watching Yuru Camp is an interesting experience because Yuru Camp, it just sort of highlights why it's so good. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Next we watched Sora Yori mo Tooi Basho, or A Place Further Than the Universe, which we've only also watched one episode of, even though there are two out at current. I hope it's good.
Dude, I think the first episode at least was freaking fantastic. It seems like it has a really strong storyline that it's gonna follow. And they already have really nice characters. Like they told the first episode so perfectly and introduced everyone with such good pacing that I'm quite relieved, because usually pilot episodes they can be a hot mess. But this one was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to see what kind of adventure these girls go on.
If you know me, you know I love coming of age stories, and this is the most coming of age.
It is.
The most coming of the most ageist.
Yes. It's about these two high school girls And
yeah, they're high schools.
Yeah. And one of them wants to go to Antarctica, and the other one just wants to go on an adventure because she's kind of always wanted to, and kind of reclaimed this dream of, oh, I want to go on an adventure and skip school and all that kind of thing. And now she's finally taking her first step towards that.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this because, I mean, it appeals to me just on every level. Mm-hmm. And I love coming of age stories. They get me every time. I feel so, it makes me feel so fluffy inside. And there's going to be drama, and there's going to be tears, and there's going to be sadness, but there's also going to be triumph and joy, and it's going to be wonderful. I hope. I have high hopes for this show.
Yeah, I have high hopes too. The storytelling so far is fantastic. I really love it.
Oh, the anime is really pretty too.
It is so pretty. Oh man.
Although, even though it's not the prettiest thing that has come out this season, it is definitely one of the prettiest.
Yeah, it is definitely. It does what it does well, and then, oh man, and the premise itself is unique in my opinion, and I really want to see where they go with it. So, yeah. So
if you, like me, like coming of age stories, watch it.
If you just like an interesting story in general, I'd recommend at least taking a peek at the first episode.
If you like rendered boats, I guess watch it.
Dude, boats.
The boats look pretty neat.
They are pretty neat. That's not all there is to it, but you know, there they are there.
I mean, it's a plus. It's a side benefit. All right, let's talk about Pop Team Epic.
A hard left from coming of age stories.
Yep, definitely a lot.
How would you describe Pop Team Epic, Soup?
Pop Team Epic is what happens when you take your traditional yonkoma format and you inject it with millennial humor.
Accurate. The humor is extremely, extremely current. So if you are internet trash like us and you basically only live on the internet and your flesh bodies are basically, they just shackle you down, then...
Listen, my flesh body is a wasting husk.
Yeah, exactly. Then Pop Team Epic, you'll probably appreciate greatly.
Yeah, it's legitimately funny if you're into that kind of humor, but if you're not, it's not going to land at all. Because it's just, otherwise it's just fucking weird. Yeah. And I love that the entire show is looking like it's going to have this big meta joke where they essentially rebroadcast the episode, but they swap out the voice actors because in one of the original comic strips, they're like, you know, when we become an anime, we want these insert two really famous male like voice actors as our voice actors, and so they have the episode with them as the voice actors for these like high school girls, and then they have the one with the quote unquote real voices.
Yes, and so far it's we've watched 2 episodes and they've kept up the joke, like for both, which is fantastic. And I don't know, as someone who hasn't read hardly any of the comics, I really like it. It's freaking funny. The humor is so random. Sometimes it doesn't land with me, but then they'll pick it up with a joke right after that has me in stitches. So.
Yeah, and I love that it's not like a cheap re-recording either. Yeah. Like if there's a song that happens, they get the dudes to do it too.
Oh, it's so good. And they'll have like subtle changes between the 2 halves of the episode.
Also, the ending is sung by the voice actors no matter which side, so they just play it twice.
Yes,
it's great.
It's so good.
Yeah, so it's really funny if you like absurdist comedy. So if you're into that, check it out.
Check it out, man. That's our impression of it.
Okay, let's take another hard left into Darling in the FranXX.
Dude, this is a roller coaster right here.
It'll calm down.
Are you sure? I don't.
No, I'm looking
ahead.
We started
with cooking. We started slow and easy with 2 cooking anime, and then we spiraled off into the distance.
Yep.
Anyway, Darling in the FranXX. Freaking, what a show! It's anime to the anime. Like every anime trope that you could ever think of is in this show. Like we, throughout watching the first episode, just kept referencing other shows that it was probably referencing.
Yeah, it's like one big amalgamation of everything that the people that do like the people behind Studio Trigger have ever done. And it's very pretty. Like as gorgeous as the animation of Violet Evergarden is from a technical standpoint, the animation in this show is like stellar in a way that isn't strictly it's pretty. It's incredibly energetic and
it's bombastic. Like the cinematography, the animation itself, everything is so explosive and fluid, and you can't help but just at least wanting to watch more, even if you don't necessarily care for the story. Which that might be where I stand.
I mean, I'm interested in the story. I'm just not hyper interested in the main character because so far nothing about him stands out. Like he just, I swear to God, if you just described this character, I wouldn't be able to tell you who it was. I don't even remember his name.
I don't remember his name either.
It's like they took a generic anime protagonist and just put that in. Like it's almost as if this show doesn't care about the protagonist at all.
I don't think it cares about him at all because the other characters, especially the pink hair girl, are just way more interesting.
I think the pink hair girl is who we're supposed to focus on.
I think she is as well. Like main character is just there almost like as a, you know how some shows they'll make a really plain main character so you can insert yourself into that position. I think that's what he's there for. This
character is the Nick Carraway of Darling in the Franxx.
He is the Nick Carraway. He is the Otome protagonist of Darling in the Franxx. So I don't know. The animation top tier. The story is so far as but they're also just setting it up, so it's entirely possible that it will get way more interesting later on because it's a collaboration between A1 Pictures and Trigger. So I think a lot of people have high hopes for it.
So if you like mecha and Studio Trigger, you will enjoy this.
Yeah.
If you like robots, you will enjoy this.
Yep.
If you like Star Driver, you'll probably enjoy this.
Basically. I mean, didn't the designer for Star Driver design the mecha in this one as well?
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Yeah. So
it wigs me out, honestly, that the mecha in this show has like real, I was gonna say real human eyes, but like they're like anime eyes.
It has anime eyes and an anime bod with an anime skirt. This robot has an anime skirt.
Listen, I kind of have to respect the character designer because he basically was like, what kind of robot do you want me to make? And they're just like, we need you to make like a really bombastic robot. And he was like, what's the point of making a robot if you can't fuck it?
Oh god, this is like Nier all over again. But
I mean, pretty much
robots instead of androids.
Yeah, I like the enemy designs too, like the fucking
the
T-Rex.
freaking Zekrom, you mean?
Yeah, it was beautiful. It had a big giant head and little tiny arms,
and it had the Zekrom tail that just went poo and then
pew.
Yep. Anyway, watch it at least so you can make comparisons to it towards any other anime that you watched.
I think that like at this point, people who know about Studio Trigger will know what they're about and will probably watch it. Like, it is at the very least more interesting to me than Kisniver ended up being, as pretty as that show was.
I never watched Kisniver, so.
You didn't watch Kisniver?
No.
Oh, that must have been before we were doing anime nights together.
Probably.
It was very pretty. Not that interesting. Like, at all. So next one?
Yeah, next one is Kokkoku, which I watched and you did it because you're late.
Listen, it fell out of my mind.
Honestly, during our watch session of many animes, I forgot about it too. But then it popped up on the homepage for anime, whatever anime website I use. So yeah, so Kokkoku is kind of like a supernatural thriller. It has a lot to do with manipulating time. And so this family, basically 2 family members get kidnapped. The rest of the family tries to go after them, and they use these stasis powers to try and save them. Problem is that when they go to save the 2 kidnapped family members, they come across another group who is also able to use stasis powers, and they have a stasis showdown. And that's the first 2 episodes I watched. Yep.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like time Jedi.
Basically, only they're very ordinary people.
Okay, so you're gonna have to explain to me how they fight using time stopping.
I mean, they don't really. So the grandfather of the family, he uses this stone, and he basically drops his blood into it and then activates a spell. And the spell allows them to enter one single frame in time. Like, the way he describes it is, if you look at a film reel, they enter one single frame, and in that single second, a moment in time, they can move around freely while everyone else is frozen. And so the problem is that if you mess around too much and you try to affect the people who are in stasis, then there's this kind of like an entity or guardian or whatever that maintains the rules of stasis. And so if you try to kill someone who's in stasis, that thing will pop your little head off, which happens to one of the people in the anime. So
I suppose that's fair.
Yeah, so other than that, they don't really have any special powers except for the grandfather, who can do very, very short span teleportation. So
what?
Yeah. So like just like several yards worth. Like not anything impressive, but like he is able to teleport people who are not in stasis. Like if he tries to teleport someone in stasis, they just get left behind. So
Rennie, you told me these were ordinary people. I love how mundane this power is, but you told me they were ordinary people.
They are, except for the grandfather. And so then you start, the way that they start unveiling the story is that there's something going on in this family that's passed down from earlier generations. And you don't quite know what it is yet, aside from these stasis powers and teleportation.
I see.
Yeah.
It sounds interesting.
It is interesting. I really want to watch more to see where the story goes.
All right.
Yep. So next we have the super quality anime that we're gonna watch more of, right, Soup?
Yep. Sanrio Danshi.
That one highly anticipated anime where pretty boys like Sanrio.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm terrified that our starting podcast is just gonna get squashed by Sanrio's lawyers for mentioning Sanrio.
The Sanrio
It's just like,
overlords.
you said Hello Kitty, our censors went off, you've like violated our copyright, destroy.
But we're just talking about the name of an anime that you signed with.
Listen, they're like hyper vehement about not letting people make like fan works.
Oh.
Because their lawyers are very strong.
Oh. Well, good thing I don't draw Hello Kitty and all that.
Yep. Yeah, so Sanrio Danshi is conceptually interesting to me. Like, I like it. I like the idea of it better than I like the actual show itself. Because I kind of really dig the narrative it is presenting to us about, like, loss and about rejecting hypermasculinity and about being able to be comfortable in your masculinity while also liking something that is not traditionally masculine.
Yeah.
But the execution of it is so fucking boring to me.
It has a very, very typical, like, pretty boy anime kind of shoujo-esque execution. And while the themes in it are, it's like you said, they're quite nice and they could be very complex, the way that they carry it out is just such a... I don't know how to describe it.
It's boring, Renu. It's boring. It's just not interesting to watch.
It's not the best. Like, it's a very typical story kind of thing.
It's so bland that it's hard to even laugh at it because, it's not funny that the boys that are really pretty like Sanrio. So obviously I can't laugh about that. And I can't laugh about the fact that it's bad because it's just not even bad. It's just bland.
It's like one of those anime where if you've seen one type of this anime, you've seen them all, and that's kind of the category that it falls in.
It feels like a pastiche of every anime in the pretty boy category.
Yeah, exactly.
But like not in an interesting way. It's like a flattening.
It flattens them.
It flattens them and then just sprinkles Hello Kitty all over it. And it's like, that's it. That's an anime.
That's it. Yeah. That's an accurate description. It's like a Hello Kitty pancake.
A Hello Kitty okonomiyaki.
Yes.
A Sanrio okonomiyaki.
Sanrio, don't crush us, please.
Sanrio, please don't sue us. I don't have money. I'm just a poor college student.
Also, don't sue me. I'm still in debt from school, so.
Too real. If you like Sanrio, watch it. If you like Pretty Boys, watch it. If you like Pretty Boys who like Sanrio, watch it.
Yeah, there you go.
To be honest, I think the sort of target demographic for this show is very self-explanatory.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I only mildly like any of these things that's involved in it, so I only mildly like the anime.
All right, let's move on.
Yep.
Because I don't want to spend more time on Sanrio Danshi.
But I want to spend all the time analyzing each character.
Get out of here. Get out of here. We're only halfway through the list. Get out of here. Talk about Cardcaptor Sakura.
Let's talk about Cardcaptor Sakura, the clear card arc, which it's the newest arc in Cardcaptor Sakura. The Clamp is revisiting it in the manga, and so they're making an anime about it, and people are very excited. Like people like me who grew up with Cardcaptor Sakura, and we only watched the first episode, and I have mixed feelings about it, man. But that's mostly not necessarily from the anime standpoint, but just from a story standpoint. I don't know, man. It's been too long that because it's very, very much on point and on theme for 90s anime, 90s shoujo little girl anime, that I'm not a little 90s girl anymore. And so it doesn't tickle my fancy other than the fact that I love seeing the characters again.
Yeah, I think the thing about Cardcaptor Sakura is that it hasn't aged super well because it's obviously, geared towards small children.
Yeah.
And this new arc is not hyper interesting. Like, you're like, oh wow, what's the mystery of the clear cards? But at the same time, it's just like, well, she's just collecting more cards and she's got new powers, and I guess like Shaoran's back and stuff.
Yeah,
and the gang's all back together.
It picks up, like, the anime picks up right where the last anime left off, rather than picking up where the manga left off, type of thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's not as approachable as other children's anime where like an adult can watch it and still really enjoy it. This one is definitely still almost primarily, I would say, targeted towards young girls, which the young girls who used to watch Cardcaptor Sakura are all grown up now, and they might, like me, enjoy seeing the characters again, but the story itself is, while it's nostalgic toward Cardcaptor Sakura because it's still very on point for it, it's also not current at all. Aside from the fact that she has a smartphone now. Y'all, Sakura has a smartphone.
So yeah, it hasn't aged well, clearly.
Yeah.
If you are a young child, you'll probably still enjoy this because, God, it is so easy to just lose yourself in all kinds of inane shit when you're a child.
For sure. And man, I love Clamp. I love everything they do. So I will probably continue watching this to see where it goes. I am intrigued by the story, so there's at least that, like, in terms of the mystery that's going on around it. Not so much like some of the other stuff. Like, I don't know. The shoujo romance, I'm just so far beyond and above past that, so.
You're over elementary schoolers.
Yeah, a little bit. I love Sakura, though, and I love Sharon, but the cherry blossom romance scenes are killing me, man. They're actually killing me. I'm a jaded old grandma now.
No, it's okay. I feel that. Let's
Let's take another hard turn.
Yeah, let's take another hard turn.
A really hard turn.
Probably like the hardest turn in the whole thing. No, we're just taking a big Junji Ito detour.
Okay.
A big Junji Ito-shaped detour. If you don't know who Junji Ito is, he is the god of horror manga. Mm-hmm. That's all you need to know. This is just an adaptation of his collection of works.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this?
It's fantastic because I love Junji Ito's work, and it's like creepy and uncomfortable and disturbing. That being said, this first episode that we watched was not as creepy and disturbing as his other works, and so it was actually fairly funny. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that kid is a menace to himself.
He is a menace to himself. Oh man, he's such a good character.
See, I feel like we have differing opinions on this because I don't actually like this anime. And that's not just because there was doll horror and I fucking hate doll horror. I actually don't think that Junji Ito's work translates really well to anime unless the director's really good at horror, because part of the suspense of Junji Ito's work is baked into the medium of manga, where you have to turn the page yourself. So you're kind of like dreading what comes next. But when that pace is set for you by the anime, and especially if the director isn't well versed in how to build tension, then it can just sort of very easily dissipate. And that's how I feel like watching it.
I actually am inclined to agree, because despite the fact that I had enjoyed the anime, it wasn't scary at all. Like, it was funny to me. And so I don't know if they intentionally did it that way to kind of like lure you into a false sense of security, but even the second episode or half or whatever with the dolls, I was just kind of like left feeling like it seemed like they were attempting horror, you know, but it didn't have that same tension that you feel when you read the story, which I know it would be really hard to replicate over anime, you know, it's different media, but it just like, I kind of wish that they had found a way to recreate it, you know, in a different way maybe.
Okay, so if you like Junji Ito, I mean, you can watch it, but I don't think you're going to get as much out of it as his other works. I think the story itself has something to do with it, because I agree that it was pretty comical almost. And the second story was a little bit like creepy kind of, but ultimately I don't think it landed. Like, I wasn't really scared or even reasonably unsettled.
Right.
And I hate dolls.
Yeah, it was I kind of want to watch more episodes to figure it out and see whether by the end if I end up liking the anime or not. But the first episode was a very strange note to introduce us on, unless it is one of those like let your guard down kind of thing, and then they'll actually get into the more frightening stuff. Listen,
I'm just saying it's not as creepy as I wanted it to be, and I hate doll anime.
Yeah.
Fuck, I already said that. I hate dolls in general. Like, doll horror gets me.
We had a good time making you watch The Boy. Which,
fuck that movie.
in the end, it wasn't about the doll, though. It was fine.
I appreciate that, like, The Boy ended up being just the most ridiculously mundane kind of horror. It's just like some crazy person that lives in the walls.
Yes.
But, like, at the same time, I hated it. And everything that it stood for. Okay. Well, let's talk about our next
hard left.
another hard left into our next show. Hakumei and Mikochi.
It's so good. So cute.
This is also something that I was reading the manga for.
Oh.
And I was so excited when they announced that there was an anime. I love this.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, I love it too, as someone who didn't know that there was a manga.
So if you don't know, it's about little tiny people, and they live in the magic forest with a bunch of talking animals, and they just live their life, and it's amazing and beautiful and comfortable and warm and pastoral, and it's everything that I want out of a manga and an anime. And now it's an anime.
Yes, and it's so calm and chill, and you're just gonna have a nice, relaxing time when you watch this anime. If you just need to wind down with something that you don't have to think about and just enjoy, then by all means watch it.
If you want like a really warm and pastoral, and I know I said that, but pastoral, non-traditional slice of life, then this is a very good pick. It feels like I'm watching a children's book.
Yes.
And that's like, that's pretty high praise from me.
It's lovely because, like, for me, slice of life divvies either into highly relatable and enjoyable or extremely boring. And this one is very much the former.
My God, it is such a healing show.
Healing.
It makes me feel warm inside
It
again after all these years of being cold and dead inside.
I mean, we did talk about this the other time, about how all the trash that you imbibe with your dramas and your pettiness, you gotta balance it out with something heartwarming. So this is that.
I do have to balance it out. I love Hakumei and Mikochi a lot.
Yes.
And I'm really excited for more episodes, and I'm really glad that the anime adaptation's good. It's so pretty. It looks like a little like watercolor storybook kind of.
It's gorgeous.
It's very soft, and the attention to detail that was in the manga has been reproduced faithfully, and I'm so glad.
That's good. Yeah, I love how it looks, and I love the characters, and it's all great. By all means, at least check it out if you want a relaxing, chill show.
Next is something that I watched and you didn't.
Aha! We get to trade off.
Yep, I watched Takunomi, which is about a girl from the countryside who comes to the big Tokyo city to become a hardworking city girl, like a very sort of traditional metropolitan narrative.
That sounds like your kind of story that you would watch and not me.
Yeah, but it's like not about that at all, actually. She just comes to this like boarding house and like she shares the home with a bunch of other women and they all just like to drink.
Oh.
Which is also right up my alley.
Yes, it is.
It's only a half length, so it's like 12 minutes for an episode. And it's very clear about what it is. Like, there are no misgivings about what it is. It's quite straightforward. They are girls, or rather, they're young women, and they like to drink. The first episode was about beer.
So do they teach you about different kinds of alcohol?
Yeah, I mean, they generally just, like, gush about alcohol, I think.
Okay.
Because the first episode was about Yebisu beer, which is it's a brand that is under Sapporo. And apparently it's like, I probably wouldn't like that beer, to be honest, because it looks like it's, while being, you know, kind of a traditional sort of light drink, it is apparently more hoppy than a lot of the other beers, which is, I hate hops.
A lot of people don't like hops. Some people are even allergic to hops, so.
Well, like, that's like a problem, because like I think that a lot of craft beer is just like, how much fucking hops can we shove into this beer? And it's basically like, no, hops are gross and disgusting. And this is an opinion coming from somebody who drinks coffee black, so like, I like black coffee and I think hops are gross as shit.
Well, as someone who dislikes both coffee and beer, I don't know if I'll be watching this anime.
I actually like beer, and I'm thinking that they're gonna like get into other kinds of alcohol.
Oh, okay. Well, there's that at least.
Personally, I'm into it. If you like girls and you like alcohol, I would just recommend watching it.
There you go.
But also, if you like those things, I would read Nomi Joshi. It's better. Yeah, it's just better in every way.
Shade.
Yeah, I mean, it's a comfortable watch, and there's a lot of comfortable watches. Very easy to turn your brain off, and it's also not a full-length episode, so it doesn't drag.
There are a lot of comfortable watches this season, man.
Listen, after the dumpster fire that was 2017, if we don't have comfort anime, what do we have? Nothing. The world is at perpetual threat of collapse.
We need to keep topping ourselves.
Yeah. I do think, and I'm gonna be like serious for a moment, but I do think that the rise in slice of life as essentially slice of life as wish fulfillment and fantasy is just so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Because like that's a big part of why I enjoy really pastoral things like Hakumei and Mikochi and Stardew Valley.
Yes.
It feels like a life that is more manageable and slower. And obviously, if you really lived that life, it would be fucking terrible. Like, you'd be bored as shit, and you'd have to deal with cows, and cows are adorable, but also terrible. And you have to touch their udders to get all that milk out.
Oh my god, you're very specific in your nightmare about farm life.
I would never want to live on a farm, but I like the idea of a fantasy farm.
Yeah, that's why Stardew exists.
Yeah, that's why Stardew Valley exists, so that I can... play farming and not do farming.
Yeah.
Although, there was a guy who bought a farm after really enjoying Stardew Valley, and I think that's really funny. And when asked about it, he was like, yeah, it's okay. I like it, actually.
Oh, well.
So, good for that guy.
Yeah, good for that guy. He's committed.
Next we watched Gakuen Babysitters.
It's an anime about babysitting. Small children.
It's really cute, actually.
It's actually really cute. The kids aren't horribly annoying. I mean, sometimes they are, but that's because that's people in general, not just kids. And
yeah, I feel like they portray children very well in this show.
It's pretty
Especially
well. Like,
children.
there's some parts of it where I'm like, that's not entirely accurate as someone who has like a niece and nephew around the age of these kids. But like, other than that, like, I really like it. I want to watch more of it.
Also, there's like a little like animation trick they do where to make the kids seem more lively, they animate them in ones when they run. That's why it looks so funny.
I love it.
It looks so good when they scuttle around. They're like scuttle, scuttle, scuttle.
They're so cute.
It's really cute.
Yeah. So if you want a cute, lighthearted watch, no real investment into it, just like watch it and enjoy it, then yeah, Gakuen Babysitters is about taking care of children.
If you like babies, watch it.
Yeah, if you like babies, watch it. If you hate babies, this isn't gonna turn your opinion around.
Not really, no.
No.
Yeah. All right. And we move on from babies to babies.
To more babies.
Not literal babies. So next we watch Karakai Jozu no Takagi-san.
Oh,
which is about middle schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
Who, from my perspective, are babies.
They are babies.
Just a different kind of baby.
Yeah, they have big old baby eyes, big old baby foreheads.
Oh my god, they're so cute.
They are really cute. The art in this anime is so cute. Just the way that they draw the characters and their interactions is really adorable.
Surprise, surprise, this is another one that I read the manga for.
Oh my god, you
which is
read
why I
a
knew
lot.
we had to watch it. I do read a lot. I'm really sad because Batoto just shut down.
Oh no, what?
Well, because the guy managing it was like, I don't have enough money to hire people to manage this, and I've been managing it alone for like 5 years, and I'm fucking stressed as shit.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Like, it's fair.
Yeah.
I'm just really sad that my favorite manga hosting site is gone.
Now you gotta find another one, I guess.
I know, and it's gonna be hard to find one that is as, reasonable as Batoto was, because they would legitimately let people make ad revenue off of their site if they gave them like their ad keys.
Whoa.
Which is the reason that I started reading them in the first place. Because before I was just on like, pirating sites like Manga Fox or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really sad that Batoto is going. I hope something else fills the niche. Because, and like this is just me sounding like, entitled, but I literally do not have money to spend on all of these other hosting sites. Like, I know that it'll support the creator and that would be great and all, but like I can't read them in the first place because I don't have the money to read them, and I don't want to invest in things that I don't know what they're like. Plus, like, scanlation sites always have really weird finds that you almost never find in like big name publishers.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I know you have Amazon Prime, and I know Amazon's getting into streaming anime and uploading manga and stuff like that, but for sure they wouldn't have like really small time scanlations. At least I would be surprised if they did.
Batato was where I read my lesbian experience with loneliness for the first time, which is really fucking good. If you haven't read it, you really have to.
I was really surprised because Batoto also, they had a lot of doujins on there. I was just like, what?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I think it's really neat that a site like that existed, and I'm really hoping that something will pop up to fill that niche.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is not the Batoto cast.
No, we're talking about Takagi-san.
So Takagi-san is about a boy who really wants to get one over on this girl that keeps teasing him because she's the master of pranks and he's a dope. Mm-hmm. And it's so cute, and I love them.
Yeah, they're adorable. And if you like, I mean, the formula, in a sense, it gets repetitive because it's just about her always one-upping him. But then there's the small intrigue of, like, they definitely have crushes on each other, but the boy is, like, really slow at realizing, or at least he doesn't want to acknowledge it. And then the girl definitely knows her feelings and all that. And so she kind of, like, cleverly almost reveals her feelings to him all the time. And so there's kind of that tension there.
I really love that it is a formula that could get stale, like you said, but because it has the overarching element of, like, will they, won't they?
Yeah, exactly.
It's really cute. And also just their interactions are really good.
Yeah. Oh,
man, they're so cute. I love it. If you like cute anime about people teasing each other,
yeah,
watch it.
Yeah.
If you like Tonari no Seki-kun, watch it.
Yes.
Did you know that Tonari no Seki-kun is written by like the sibling of another mangaka?
Oh, what? No, I did not know that.
The mangaka of Tonari no Seki-kun is Takuma Morishige, who is the younger brother of Akiko Higashimura, who did Kurage-hime.
Oh.
She did Jellyfish Princess.
Oh, okay.
That's
Wow.
why I was thinking about that recently. I just recently finished that manga.
Yeah. I have not finished that manga.
They're really good. I would definitely recommend watching them. I think that her work is a lot of very soft transgressionism. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of pushing against traditional family roles and traditional gender roles and traditional configurations of family and bonds and personal relationships. It's really cool.
Yeah, I got that impression from Kurage-hime a bit from, like, watching the anime and reading what I had of the manga, so I think I would like to read more and stuff. Because that's my style. Or that's definitely my aesthetic.
Absolutely. Yeah, Karakai Jozu no Takagi-san.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good.
And let's talk about something that's pretty fantastic.
Oh my god.
Yuru Camp.
Yuru Camp is so lovely.
I was expecting this to be, like, kind of comfortable but slow.
Yes.
And it's not at all.
Yeah, I expected, going into it, I was just like, I don't know if I'll like this or not. It's just a camping anime, but oh boy, these characters and the story and the music. Oh, I love the music much.
The music is so standout in this anime specifically. It has some of the best music of the season, I think.
Yep.
And it really helps to set the mood and the tone, and it sounds gorgeous. And it makes you feel like you want to go on a camping adventure.
Yes. Coming from Soupy, who would probably despise camping.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I've been camping, and, like, I'm kind of meh about the whole ordeal. I like it because I get to hang out with my friends, but not having Wi-Fi is killer.
It is death
because
for
I'm
a person who lives on the internet.
I am too attached to my technological gizmos. But yeah, Yuru Camp was a big surprise to me because I kind of expected to be, cute, but a K-On! Ripoff, basically. But it's a good K-On! Ripoff.
Right. It's so charming in its own way, which I love.
The characters are cute, and they have great interactions. Like, the main girl just, like, wants to camp and doesn't want anybody to bother her, but then everyone's like, come camp with us! And she's like, I guess so.
Yeah.
and it's funny. Like, I was legitimately laughing at some of the jokes they have. Like, the gags are actually really good.
They're great. God, the dogs are so good. Anyway,
the dog scene is just amazing.
Cracking up, and they have like really small like gags too that they just kind of come out of nowhere, and then they have you in stitches because you didn't see it coming. And
yeah, I know what you're thinking of, and I think
you're
thinking
exactly.
about the pine cones, right?
The pine. Listen,
The little pine cones where
anything can be made into a joke, including pine cones.
Where when you zoom in on them, they go,
"Konnichiwa."
oh my god, it's so cute. Everything about it is like wonderful and polished. The animation is gorgeous. The music is amazing, and the pine cones are my favorite.
The pine cones are so good.
Oh, and the like, oh my god, it's. I wasn't expecting it to love this anime as much as I do, but I'm so looking forward to it every week now.
Yeah,
and it feels so good to watch.
Mm-hmm. Like, if you're not generally a fan of this genre, I would recommend trying the first episode anyway, because like I'm actually generally not a fan of this genre either. But boy, do I love this anime so much.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the pacing isn't slow.
Yes,
it's deliberate and it's contemplative. It really makes you feel like you're camping.
Yeah,
because you have these moments, like these small moments that are, funny or energetic, and they're linked, and there's like a moment to think when you have this breathtaking scene of like Mount Fuji, and it's like cold but it's clear out. I love it.
Yeah.
This anime is what I would want camping to be. But obviously, I hate camping, so anytime someone is like, "Hey, we should go camping," I have to think of an excuse as to why I can't go.
Oh my god!
Because I don't want to just flat out say I hate the outdoors, and people know that I hate the outdoors. But when people are like people get so excited about camping, they're like, "We should go camping," and I just have to say, "No, I am busy.
I am sick.
I am sick." Leave me.
Well,
yeah, I think it's everything about this anime is like really polished and wonderful.
Yes, it's lovely.
Speaking of anime that are polished and wonderful, let's talk about Violet Evergarden.
Yes, I love this anime so much.
Oh my goodness, this anime is insane because it's KyoAni, so it's obviously like KyoAni is weird. They're like an anomaly in like the anime industry because they just do it all at once and then release it. So everything about the animation is like wonderful, but this really takes it to like a next level. Yeah. So it's like a movie. It's like watching a movie every episode.
It is. Like every time we watch it, I'm just like so startled that it's not that it's an animation rather than like a full, because it is movie quality. Like each episode, and it's kind of fantastic. I hope they keep it up to the end of the season. That's what I'm afraid of, that the quality might end up dropping off, but since they already produced everything, then I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah, they make sure that like they don't do that. Like, I think KyoAni is weird because they don't do that, but I really appreciate that it's a studio that does that.
I don't think it's weird. I think it's amazing. Other people should follow their example.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I think other studios should do it. I just don't think they will.
Well, they should, because it's a beautiful anime.
What I'm really surprised about with Violet Evergarden is that the story is actually pretty good.
Yes.
Which I know can be kind of a contentious point in some of KyoAni's other works.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of hit or miss with me and KyoAni and how much I enjoy their stories. Like, they're always really gorgeous, but as far as how much I actually enjoy the anime is another question.
Well, it feels like this is the first one in at least a little while that has like a proper serious story. I mean, I think Hibike to some extent was that, but there was a lot about it that was still it's a high school setting and they're high school girls and everything seems really important and dramatic and, amazing, but that's because they're children. Yeah. And the fact that this isn't about children is kind of neat. I also really dig the setting because she got these weird mecha arms. There was war.
Yeah, it's kind of like they made up their own world, and I really want to learn more about it.
I don't know if it's based on anything. I think it might be based off of like a manga or a light novel or maybe even like a novel, because I know some anime do tend to do that. It's
based on Netflix.
Yeah, definitely. Just the entirety of Netflix.
Yes.
Whoever owns Netflix, that guy was like, I wish I was an anime girl.
What if it's a lady? Yeah. I actually don't know anything about Netflix as a corporation.
I don't know anything about Netflix either. I just kind of have this sneaking suspicion that it's not a lady.
Oh, you don't know that.
I mean, I suppose that's fair. I'm thinking too much about Jeff Bezos and his Bezos sphere.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I wanted to say about Jeff Bezos. He doesn't need more time in our podcast. He had his moment.
All right. Thanks.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Amazon anyway. CEO Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Please don't strike us down with a copyright strike. With your personage. We're not slandering you, I swear.
We just mentioned you.
All glory to the Bezosphere.
And then the lawyers come.
I like that we've put in this episode Sanrio and Jeff Bezos on the same level.
That's you. You did that.
Okay. All right. But yeah, Violet Evergarden. It's gorgeous and very heartwarming because it's about a person who doesn't have feelings, but then she's like, what if I have feelings? And she wants to learn about these feelings, and that just gets me every time. That's
Soupy's hashtag aesthetic.
I love it so much.
But yeah, the story is actually pretty compelling. I'm really excited to watch more.
I hope the story keeps up. It seems to be going in a very interesting direction, and I'm like pretty into the setting.
Yeah.
Mostly because like I love any setting with like fully realized like steampunk prosthetics.
Yes.
God, they're so neat. They're so neat. Although it was like weird when she like cut her own arm off.
You know, when you rip your dang arms off voluntarily, you got a question.
I just found that to be an odd moment.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about How to Raise a Mummy.
Yes, it's so cute. It's so illogically cute.
I didn't know how to feel about it when I started watching it, and before we started watching it, and about halfway through watching it.
Yeah.
I think I enjoy it.
You think you enjoy it? Okay, that's fair. Because I also was kind of mixed feelings about it before we started. I was like, okay, well, I'm sure it's going to be one of those, like, super overly cute anime. And then the way that they just animate the smallest things is really nice, and I like it. I have no idea where they're going to go with it. I guess they're going to introduce more creatures and stuff. But, yeah, I usually don't go for these kinds of anime, but maybe because we're watching it with a group, or it's just like I need some cuteness in my stressful life that it's appealing to me right now.
I mean, maybe. Yeah. I mean, it's quite cute.
Like,
and I'll give it that.
Like, you really have to suspend your disbelief, because it's a freaking animated mummy that's, like, the size that can fit in your palm, and it cries. Like, a mummy shouldn't be able to cry.
None of it makes any sense. I don't understand it.
Like, the whole time, I kept thinking, like, oh my god, why is this happening? Why is this and that? And then I was just like, you know what? I can't enjoy this anime if I need to just stop questioning things if I want to enjoy this thing.
Yeah, if you just sort of turn your brain off and don't think about it at all, it's pretty cute.
Yeah, you have to turn your brain off if you want to enjoy this anime, which I usually don't do. But
don't even think about it as a mummy, really. Just think about it like an animated plushie doll, because that's all it is, honestly.
Yeah, essentially. Not a shriveled husk wrapped in bandages.
Distressing.
That's what it is, and they're making it cute and cry. I'm just like,
Yeah.
No. anyway.
Don't have anything else to say about that one, actually.
Okay.
It's if you like cute things, you watch it and you just turn your brain off and don't think about it.
It's a brainless anime, literally.
Come on, Ramen, introduce the other thing.
Oh, Overlord 2, but I didn't watch it. Why am I introducing it?
We're doing that thing where we swap off and
oh my
I'm just
god.
like, oh, I didn't watch this, but you did, because I've been really introducing a lot of these and I feel like I'm taking up too much space.
Okay, fine. Well, Overlord 2 is the sequel to Overlord, and I did not watch either of them, so Soupy can take it away now and take up more space.
Hey now.
I'm making the sick person work.
I hope you know that I was going to cut the first part out, but now I can't. Okay, well, Overlord 2 is obviously the second season of Overlord, which is one of those kind of isekai shows where he's an isekai protagonist, except he's a giant skeleton man because he was a giant skeleton man in his MMO. And it's pretty good, honestly, as far as isekai shows go.
Okay.
Because it presents a different sort of narrative. Because it's not about how, oh, he's so cool and powerful and he's going to save everybody. It's about how he's like, yeah, I'm the big evil skeleton man, and this is my big evil skeleton plan. I live here now.
Cool.
I'm attended to by a host of demons.
Skeletons are cool.
Skeletons are cool, I agree. Yeah. Overlord 2 is more of the same, but it does have my favorite arc in Overlord so far, which is the lizard person arc, because I think as far as fantasy shows go, and like actual fantasy shows, I think have a lot to learn from Overlord, especially if they're trying to portray like D&D-esque worlds. Overlord has the best depiction of lizard people in any anime I've ever seen, ever.
You really like the lizard people in this series.
I really do, because they're, like, even within, like, the category of lizard people, which is kind of a homogenizing name, they are all in different, like, tribes, and they all have different lizard features. Like, there's a guy who's a crocodile, and then, like, there's some, like, skinks that are, like, faster, and there's some like lizards. I don't know what a normal lizard is called. There's a lot more diversity within the lizard people in this show than some anime have in their entire fantasy cast. So, you know, I do appreciate the effort there.
Sure. I mean, rather than grouping them all together as one lizard, they actually show the subtleties between lizard species, which there are many, many of.
There are a lot of lizards in the world. This is true. These are true facts. If you like isekai shows, yeah, absolutely watch it. If you want an isekai show that's a little bit different, then absolutely watch it. Because it's about the main character who is, like, way overpowered for the world he's in, but, like, there's no misgivings about it. It's not like... Because it's not like, oh, what am I going to do? I'm the hero, but I can't save everybody. Okay, I can.
Done. Then the show's over.
Yeah, I love that he's like big and strong and also a skeleton from the beginning. And he embodies a lot of these sort of anti-hero traits. He's like, Overlord is sort of like the Batman of isekai shows, whereas isekai shows are like the Superman of isekai shows.
Okay. Isekai is the Superman of isekai.
Isekai protagonists are the Superman of isekai shows. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
That's what I thought.
Or like you have Konosuba, where it's like a trash human that's the protagonist.
Yeah, Konosuba is next level for what it was.
Yeah, I like anti-hero protagonists, because then even if it is all about them, it's all about how they're, you know, just being just ruining everything, essentially.
They're doing the right thing in their own way, which may or may not be beneficial. Exactly. Usually it's not.
Yeah.
I also just love shows where, like, a dude parades around and is like, yeah, I'm the bad guy. Right. How about that, you suckers? Honestly, those are some of my favorite characters.
They're really great. They just own up to what they are.
Well, next we watched Gintama.
Man, more Gintama. I hope you're not sick of hearing about Gintama, because there's more Gintama.
It's just it never ends. Actually, that's not true. It's ending.
Yeah,
We're in the final arc now.
Don't say that. Yeah, just it's called the final arc, but it's a very long final arc, and they're actually, unlike Porori-hen, they're getting back into the plot for this season of Gintama, so it's going to be very, very serious.
Yeah, it picks up where the season before Porori-hen ended.
Yes.
And it's just going to roll with it until the series ends, because the manga is still coming out, and it's really getting close. I haven't read for like 15 chapters or so.
I'm scared to read it.
They're really gearing up for the final confrontation.
Yes.
There are characters showing up that I just... Listen, Sorachi never forgets a character. That's all I'm going to say.
I love it.
He never forgets a fucking character.
I'm having feelings about these characters I haven't seen in like years.
Yeah. I'm really excited to keep watching it because it's so good. It's so good.
So
and like
good.
this is we're starting the full final battle, and like that's one of my favorite tropes is like, oh, everybody gathers together and all of these characters that you haven't seen in forever are coming out of the woodwork to be like, I'm gonna protect yours too.
Yeah, they're all gonna contribute and stuff. It's very shonen. Gintama can be extremely shonen because it is a shonen, but sometimes you forget.
I think Gintama really earns the shonen it gets.
Yeah. It works for it in a way.
It works for it with jokes.
Yeah.
Lots of jokes.
Lots of jokes. Lots of parodies.
And I know this one's not on the list, but I just recently finished Volume 5 of Ruby. It's an anime, fuck you.
Okay.
Oh no, this is not directed towards you. This is directed towards the weird anime purist out there.
Oh yes.
I know he exists.
Oh, it's not just a he; it's a they.
Yeah, it's a collective. The collective hive mind of anime purists.
Yeah.
Anime can only come from Japan. It can only be made by Japanese people. No, get out of here.
Well, we know the stance on that.
So I finished season 5 of Ruby, and I have a lot of thoughts about it, and
Okay.
I am gonna save the vast majority of them for when I make you watch Ruby.
Oh, you want to do a Ruby podcast?
We're gonna do a Ruby episode for sure, because it definitely deserves a discussion.
Okay, I have not watched beyond like half of season 1.
That's perfectly fine. I'm gonna make you watch all of it.
Okay.
Not all at once, of course, because that's actually a decent chunk of time, but here's what I'll say about Volume 5. Volume 5, after a terrible, meaningless, meandering Volume 4 that doesn't even build characters well, Volume 5 felt like they knew what they were going to do and what direction they wanted to go in and what dramatic arcs they wanted to build up.
Okay.
And then they like have all this emotional build up that is actually not terrible, I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Surprisingly not terrible. And then the finale comes around and my balls are the bluest I've ever been in my entire life.
Oh my god.
Every single thread that could have ended in some emotional payoff was just dissipated. It all went away. It's all gone. It was all botched. I'm convinced that they do not know how to write stories. It has been 5 years, Miles and Carrie. 5 years. You have no excuse for how badly that finale went.
Oh no. Well, that's how I felt about Inuyashiki, but yeah.
I mean, that's fair. Because the way that a story should end, or rather, the way that a season should end, especially if you have this emotional build-up, is it should peak at the finale or earlier.
Sure.
And they were building up to the finale, and then the emotional payoff of the final episode was below the start of the season.
Oh. So you had a net loss rather than a net profit of story.
Yeah, it was poorly executed.
Oh.
I will say a poorly executed dramatic arc that didn't feel satisfying and set up the next volume in the most blasé way possible. It's just like, okay, I guess we'll just go to the other place to get the other MacGuffin.
MacGuffin. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for how decent Volume 5 was in comparison to Volume 4, I was really disappointed by the finale. If you like Ruby, I would avoid Volume 5.
Oh no.
And also Volume 4, but that's because I think Volume 4 was also done really poorly. That's why I had hopes for Volume 5, because, like, you know, I'm like halfway through it, or like I was halfway through it when I was binging it, and I was like, okay, all right, I see where they're going with this, and this could result in some satisfying emotional payoffs, maybe, because like it's like pretty much the only thing that you have going for you. You only have these characters, because it's not like I care that much about the plot insofar as it affects the characters.
Okay.
And it just didn't hit.
That's a shame. Is it the kind of series where the story builds on itself? So if you wanted to skip the volumes, then would the story still make sense, or do you have to watch all the volumes?
No, you have to watch all the volumes to get all the context.
So then, yeah,
it's important.
You can't skip them. Then you gotta get through the bad stuff.
No, you have to. Well, here's the thing: is volumes 1 to 3 are actually really good. Like, volumes 1 to 3 are better than volume 4.
Okay.
And then counting the finale, better than volume 5.
Okay.
Yeah, it's... Well. I don't know. That was unfortunate, because I really like Ruby. And I really wanted to like this season because of how much of a misstep Season 4 was. But, you know, those are thoughts that I will expound upon later when we do a Ruby cast.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of love behind that series, so I feel like... Given criticisms and such, like, maybe they'll pull it together. I will try to remain optimistic about it for you guys' sake.
They had 5 years. They had 5 years to learn how to write a story.
I mean, it's hard.
It's hard to write a story.
It's hard, and not everyone's going to agree. There are probably people out there that really like the finale, your very blasé, disappointing finale. So.
I think even the people who liked Volume 5 a lot don't like the finale.
Ooh.
And obviously when I make you watch it, we'll talk about it.
Oh, sure.
But
maybe I'll have an opposing opinion, and then we can talk about it. Or maybe I'll agree with you, and we'll just rage into the sun together.
It's fine. Yeah, I hope that they get their act together, because they've made the same mistake before in storytelling, and the fact that they haven't learned from it is like slightly concerning.
Did the latest volume come out recently, or like? Yeah,
the finale was on Saturday, actually.
Oh, okay, so super recently.
So very recently. Yeah. If you like Ruby, maybe just stick to volumes 1 to 3.
But they have to watch it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to dissuade you from watching it, but it is a tremendous amount of... I'm not going to say a tremendous amount of build-up, because it's not tremendous, but there is a decent amount of emotional build-up and dramatic tension that builds up that doesn't get resolved in any satisfying way. There are 3 different arcs. 3 different arcs that just get cut off, and that's the end of them.
So maybe lower your expectations a whole lot before you get into volumes 4 and 5, and maybe expect for all the loose ends to not get tied or to get dropped off a cliff, like that kind of thing.
All right, well, that's the end of our podcast, the end of our wrap-up of the start of the 2018 season.
Yes. Oh, I thought of something more interesting that I did other than work, which...
Oh, okay.
I went to PAX South, and that was a lot of fun.
Tell me about PAX South. How was PAX South?
It was great. It was in San Antonio, so I just drove over, and there was a panel and an autograph session with Michael Dante DiMartino, the co-creator for Avatar: Last Airbender. So I went to that, and I asked him to sign my DVD box set of Avatar, and that was cool. And he was very chill. He seems like has a gentle demeanor type of dude. And then I went to go see the exposition hall where all the games are at, and Monster Hunter World had like a giant display with a giant dragon thing looking down at you, and I was like, dude, this is dope. But of course the line was just like miles long, and it was capped off, and so I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna play it then.
I'm so excited for Monster Hunter World. Do you wanna play that on PC?
Yeah, let's play it. We'll
it.
kill things together.
Let's hunt some monsters.
And I'll feel bad, but then we'll do cooking games and I'll feel better.
It's true. Yeah, I don't unfortunately have a lot of Monster Hunter experience because it never came out on consoles that I own.
Yeah.
But I'm really into everything it does on a technical, aesthetic, and gameplay level.
Like I've literally never played a Monster Hunter game, but I've always liked the design for it, and I've seen people have a lot of fun with it, and I'm like, oh, I want to play someday.
I played on 3DS briefly before I realized it was miserable without a second thumbstick.
Oh.
Yeah, well, so it goes. I'll just wait for it to come out on PC, which is going to be in, like, fall of 2018.
Oh, well, it'll be exciting regardless.
Half a year after it comes out on consoles. It's okay.
But we'll be the market that keeps it thriving, okay?
We'll still be there in the end.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Well, that was indeed exciting.
Yeah, I did a thing that wasn't sitting in work as sitting at home.
Well, tell us, Renu, where can we find you on the internet?
Frick. I'm on social medias occasionally when I'm not stuck in a hole at Swandron, and I just finished a bunch of artsues that I'll probably post up soon. I like to do a lot of pixel art, so I've been in that hole for a long time. And oh man, I just started playing Valhalla on stream. That's a good time.
Oh fuck, I love Valhalla.
I know
so
you
much.
love
it's
Valhalla.
One of my favorite games.
I only just started, so I've got like an hour into it, but it's great. I'm hoping to play more later on this week or whatever, whenever I get time.
Who's your favorite character so far?
Oh god, I hardly met anyone. I mean, I guess the main character is fine. Like I've literally only met like was it main character, dude, coworker, boss, the news guy, and the dude that comes after news guy.
Yes.
Very specific.
It's true. Main character's pretty good.
Yeah. But
it's the game where you are the waifu.
Yeah, I am the waifu, and I like the boss too. Boss is good. Yeah, where will we find you, Soup?
You can find me on the internet, most places, at Literal Soup. If I'm on the internet in a place, it's probably there. I talk a lot on Twitter. I just recently had a thread about why I think Mercy is broken, but it's, a nuanced opinion, and not, oh, they should just get rid of Mercy.
As in have a discussion on certain aspects of Mercy and not scrap her entirely.
It's a discussion of why she's both too strong and doesn't feel good to play, which is the problem.
I mean, at PAX, I saw probably every skin of Mercy as someone was cosplaying her. Like, it was kind of impressive.
It's a very popular character.
Yes, she's very popular, and has a very nice costume, so. Well, thank you guys for joining us on talking about the introduction to Winter 2018. At the end of the anime season, we'll probably have like a wrap-up where we talk about which ones we stuck with and which ones we dropped and why. And I don't even know what we're gonna do next time.
Oh, I know what we're doing.
Oh, you know what we're doing. Okay, well, apparently Soup has already decided, so it'll be a surprise for me.
Goodbye.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Fly me to the